Unemployment claims spiking as stores are closing. Hey everybody, Scott Walters, buckle up, strap in. We got a hard-hitting, pull no punches, no sugarcoating it, no rainbows or sunshine. I'm just going to give it to you and give it to you straight. We got a good one to unpackage today. Welcome to the show. I hope everybody's doing great. So the warning signs continue to mount as now stores are closing all over America, left and right. We're going to take a look at just some of those today. And unemployment claims are spiking. And we've talked about this, friends. Who buys homes? The white collar wage earner. Who rents homes typically? The blue collar wage earner, the service sector. So unfortunately, these companies that are shutting down have both. It's the double whammy because you're going to have upper management, you're going to have corporate, and then you're going to have the ground level service sector, retail worker in these stores getting laid off. So it's going to be homeowners and renters. And here's the challenge, friends. We've talked about this from the get-go. I remember a lot of blowback that I used to get on the channel when I was reporting that this is a real estate bubble. This was back in the euphoria when it was all rainbows and sunshine. I'm just like, listen, I'm a real estate agent. I'm out here working this thing, and it is crazy, head-spinning, mind-boggling. It's an episode of The Twilight Zone, a showdown at the OK Corral when it comes to doing business in real estate. Cutthroat, backstabbing, it all occurred. And people drank the economic Kool-Aid and thought this time was different, or they were just completely clueless of the waters we're now swimming in. So today we've got to read between the lines and look between the economic cracks, give forward thinking, critical thinking, so we can stay one step ahead of what the next potential news line might be. And it doesn't even matter because the news lines are there. It's just there's so many, it's hard to keep up with. I've always said this is going to end up being politically, socially, and economically charged. We have the three-headed monster, where in 2008, it was primarily economics. Now, government stepped in and attempted some government intervention to hold up the housing market, but it didn't work because once you overheat the biggest asset class on planet Earth, it's really hard to save that one off. I mean, you might be able to delay the inevitable, but eventually it's going to do its thing. The housing market is that big, and it will have a global ripple effect. Recessions will visit other countries if we go in recession. And this could be pretty challenging because typically throughout history, we've had corrections, recessions, and even economic depressions, which is a severe level of a recession. A deep cycle recession would be categorized as a depression. The last one was the Great Depression, the stock market crash of 1929 or whatever it was. You haven't lived through that. I haven't lived through that one, but I did live through the great financial crisis of 2008 as a bill-paying adult, even caught the dreaded falling knife, bought a house just to watch it go down in value, and I didn't do the one cardinal sin that I always preach here at the channel. My house did not pencil out. It cost me more to own that house than it would have to rent it, and so I didn't have the luxury of putting in a renter to cover the mortgage, where ultimately I had to make the tough decision to go ahead and put it on the market, take it to the bank and say, here you go, this is the best offer you can get, accept it as a short sale. I'm leaving the keys under the mat because at this point I am so disgusted with the way this was handled, primarily from the banks, because they were basically lying to people, saying they were going to help them keep their homes when in fact they were just selling off these bad loans to anybody they could. And they just played cat and mouse with me to the point where I said, okay, I'm just going to play the game with them, which is what I did. So I learned some important lessons. Stay tuned. If you're new, get subscribed. I might share a little more of my story in a future video, what I did with this specific property. Now, I bought other property before the bubble, and it was investment property. I didn't live in it. It was pure income property that I had with a partner. But the primary home, I did catch the falling knife, and I just bought into the herd mentality along with everybody else. Real estate only goes up. Well, I learned a very important lesson, which is why I'm here with you today. Now, in the 2008 crisis, I was actually working as upper management as a commercial estimator and project manager, and I watched a lot of employees getting laid off. Then I watched some of the office get laid off, and then finally I got my pink slip, and I had to leave too. And so luckily for me, I'm pretty driven, and I was able to start another business from the loft of my pre-short sold house. It was already in trouble. And I launched another business, and I went and did what I had to do to provide for my family. And I want to urge anybody watching today that's facing any financial hardships to never give up. Make sure you continue to just set goals and go for those goals. Money's going to come and go, my friends. It's just the way it is. But the challenge with what I'm seeing right now is stores are closing all over America, and these are tied to employees. And like I was about to say, a lot of people at the channel said, yeah, but a lot of these people have these low interest rates, so they're never going to sell their home because then they're going to lose their interest rate. Well, I've always said, I don't care if you have 0% interest. If you can't afford to make your payment, you're losing your home. So I always say those 3% interest rates are not going to save people if they get laid off. And those people got laid off, but it gets better or worse again, depending on how you look at it. Also, landlords started price gouging, right? In fact, here in California, we're even putting more restrictions on what you can do in terms of rent increases because a lot of places were I can't tell you how many calls I got from people either A, my landlord wants to sell, or B, my landlord just did a hefty rent increase on me that I believe is borderline criminal. And for all intents and purposes, if they were to try to do that today, it would become criminal, as that's now something that's on the radar of everybody. But again, it's just putting a Band-Aid on a shotgun blast. But my point is a lot of these investors that went and bought these income properties, these apartment buildings, and they based it on the rent rolls and projected rents. Well, rents are going to start softening as they start bleeding tenants. We're going to see property values, of course, drop, and we're going to see rents start to drop as well. Now, we're at the front end of this, right? As the news is just rolling in and we're getting reports of these layoffs, it doesn't mean like tomorrow all of a sudden you're going to see neighborhoods start to take those 50% haircuts, although a lot of neighborhoods are in fact getting pretty close to that now based on their pandemic highs. So it started. Real estate's local. All areas behave differently. It's going to migrate. It'll start in this neighborhood. We'll pull the comps. It's going to spill into that neighborhood. We pull the comps. And as you rerun these comps over and over again, and we see, we record recent sales, it's going to now drag down property values of surrounding areas. So if you're one of the unfortunate people that got laid off, whether you're middle or upper management or just a ground floor worker, you're now losing your rental and or your house or at risk of it. And my challenge with this one, friends, is in 2008, I saw a lot of pressure being, to buy, but nothing like I saw here. People put so much pressure on themselves to buy with the bidding wars and writing letters, heartfelt letters to the owners, anything they could. And they're so emotionally invested. And I know as a salesman, once I can get you to commit to buy, you're buying. Nothing's changing your mind, especially if you have that pre-approval letter in your hand. You will buy. So a lot of people bought houses they normally wouldn't have bought, but they were just so desperate and there was such a lack of inventory and choices. They bought houses that they didn't even really like or love at that point. So, but the reality is that, like I said, when you put that much pressure to buy the house, the last thing you want to do is lose the house. You'll usually go down with the Titanic. You'll hang on to your fingernails and ride it till the wheels come off trying to save this house, even though you probably should have cut ties from it long ago or long before you decided to, let it go back to the bank. It's hard because you're not thinking straight when you're under financial strain, especially if you have obligations to the family and they don't understand economics and you're trying to explain it to them, but it's falling on deaf ears. I know that to be the case with my situation, and I'm sure that's going to be the case with plenty of other situations out there moving forward as well. Till, that'll just be the story till the end of time. More than likely, although a lot of things will change, I believe this potential downturn that we're up against next will produce some brave new world that we probably only talked about in the past, and we're going to, as a potential conspiracy theory, or actually maybe will start to come to fruition in a lot of ways because of the political, social, and economic components that this now carries with it. So to drive our point home today, let's jump over to a recent article and see what's going on with companies closing and laying off employees. Then we'll meet back here and wrap it up. Let's get started. More than 2,500 stores are closing across the U.S. this year. Here's the list coming from BusinessInsider.com. Now, side note, these are retail stores, so we're not even counting all the tech companies and other companies doing their layoffs as well. But the scary part about this one, this is in fact retail, and retail is the backbone of our economy. So this one is very, very big. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the stores currently slated to close, and I'm sure more are probably gonna follow. At least 8 retail brands have said they're closing U.S. stores this year, totaling over 2,500 locations. Twice bankrupt Party City is the largest chain on the list with 700 stores facing closure. Joan and JCPenney are among the latest retailers to announce store closures. Business Insider tally of disclosures from the 8 retail chains found more than 2,500 stores have closed or are set to close across the U.S. in 2025. The current number is up slightly from last year's total, but down from 2023 when the collapse of Bed Bath & Beyond contributed to the shuttering of more than 2,800 locations. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the retailers shutting their doors. Party City just getting started with 700 stores gone. Joan, 500 stores gone with their first wave of closures. Are these companies going to be able to survive as a whole? Big Lots, 480 stores. This is a discount store. They could not handle the inflationary war. They are done. Walgreens, a staple store, 450 stores closing, and we're just getting started. I'm sure more are going to follow there as well. This is getting pretty serious, my friends, but let's go ahead and keep looking and see who's up next. And here we go. Family Dollar, 370 stores gone. And again, a discount store. These were stores that people relied on to try to make their dollar go a little further. And even the big retailer, Macy's, done. 66 stores, and my guess is they'll be closing all of their stores in just a matter of time, as this store is a behemoth. There is no way you can run a store this big if you don't have shoppers. Kohl's, again, just getting started. First wave of closures, 27 stores. And again, this is a big box store. JCPenney, they were in trouble even prior to the crisis. This was the nail in the coffin for them, as they are gone. Let's go ahead and get back to the studio so we can wrap this one up. All right, friends, welcome back. And there you go. Forward thinking, critical thinking, warning signs. You see, most people, if you're still able to pay your bills, you're reading these articles much like I am today, and you're like, oh, do you see what's going on, honey? The Macy's is closing. Well, ours have been gone for a while. In fact, I think one of those pictures was, in fact, my local Macy's. The reality is this, like I said before, what we're going to see now is a lot of these people, upper management, who bought houses, they're no longer going to be able to make those payments, even if they have 3% interest rates. And because a lot of these people bought during the bubble era, their homes are no longer worth what they paid. So they cannot sell the house any longer unless they bring money to the closing table. And most people that are laid off don't have the ability to bring money to the closing table. And typically, before a bank will even accept your short sale, they typically want to see a legitimate verified hardship that you've been laid off, which a lot of people will be able to provide. But even then, the banks are going to try to play cat and mouse with these people and get them to, they're going to try to squeeze them for anything they have left in their bank account. For sure. That's just what the banks do. I mean, it's shark infested out there right now. And unfortunately, everybody drank the Kool-Aid. All these companies now, the banks included, are in big trouble because they were writing loans on homes that were being overbid on. And these houses are now going upside down, and the banks are at risk of getting these back. Now, landlords also hiking rents. They're going to start bleeding tenants. This is going to have a spillover effect. In fact, that's why we're seeing more and more affordable housing starts, hotels being converted to shelters, apartment buildings being converted or being built for low income and or just affordable rentals, because a lot of these homeowners are now going to end up renters again. People see this coming, but the reality is this: if they just bought their building during the crisis, similar to the Airbnb business model, where you were projecting certain amount of bookings and now those bookings have gone away, and you bought that house during the bubble with your free money and the cash cow that came along with the stimulus package, we already see a lot of those homes. I can't tell you how many listings I see that are Airbnb listings offering to sell the furniture. Oh, the furniture. It's so funny. I was just talking to a client yesterday, and they're like, yeah, this one was an Airbnb, and they're saying that the furniture is available for purchase. Listen, homeowners, if you have an Airbnb full of furniture, you better be ready to give it away, because not only are you going to get under asking price offers, you're not going to get full asking price offers. People are going to, if they're my clients, I'm going to say, if my client wants any of your furniture, I'm going to say, plus we want the furniture thrown in for free. And final thoughts, I come to you as a friend, as a content creator, as a real estate guy that wants to see you not only win in real estate, win in life, understand the waters you're swimming in now, they're shark infested. Unemployment claims spiking, stores closing. Welcome to the swimming pool. Unfortunately, this is going to have a ripple effect into the biggest asset class on planet Earth, the U.S. housing market, which if we lose, we will lose everything and be thrusted back into a recession. And if you halfway expect this, you're going to be able to operate within it much more efficiently. You won't be a deer in the headlights if and when this plays out. I don't regret going through 2008 now, but I certainly wouldn't want to go back and repeat the same thing over expecting a different result, because that's in fact the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over expecting a different result, which is one of the reasons I turned on this camera when I saw the markets exhibit that bubble behavior and some of the things that were happening in our economy, and letting people know we're doing the same thing over. It's just packaged up differently. And that's why I'm going to be here to blow the lid off it every step of the way, because it's not only what we need, it's in fact what we deserve. If you appreciate the content, I want to humbly ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Social media links in the description of this video if you'd like to contact me there, along with links to channels I've appeared on I think you might enjoy. If you need help buying or selling real estate here in America, I have the biggest network of top-rated agents in the nation ready to assist you. It'd be our honor and our privilege to do so. Email in the description for you as well. Also, if you're watching from your television set today and you enjoyed this video, you're going to love the next video. And there's an easy subscribe icon for your convenience. As always, thank you for your time. Please go make it count today. God bless, and I'll see you on the next video.